Good day. We are so glad to see you another time as we begin our episode, Building Faith in Your Kids. We thank you for tuning in every single Sunday. And we want to give you a countdown as you get your Bibles and share and send this video to a friend. Let's give them a countdown, y'all. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great job. Thank you for clipping, sharing, and sending to a friend. We have today with us Pastor Tripp. Yes, Pastor Tripp is our young adult pastor here, and he's going to give our story. I'm so excited to have him with us.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.
All right, and we have here Alexis McGuire, and we have Clinton Gracie. Y'all wave to the people. All right, we're so glad to have you.
In this game, you can claim anything and they can't say nothing. So hard, so hard, and your balls might blow a couple brains with a button. Pull triggers, push dope, them figures might double up something. Can't nobody tell bruh nothing. But talking about the Lord, it's going too far, y'all funny. Hey, can I get another one heating up? NBA jam on fire deep in us. Going hard like the score might even up. But it won't, too cold, I'm sleeping up. Why be ashamed? We seen enough. He was bleeding, no breathing, and beating up. Ain't got no reason to leave him, I'm sold. He bought my soul. He picked this light-skinned, did he the know? Celebrations, best win. We got grace, we resting. They the groom, we stepped in. Now every day's a reception. Still gotta serve my God, no lie. Still unashamed. On the mic, I might testify, oh my. Still unashamed. Tear down what we got so high, they try. Still unashamed. Come on, clap your hands. Here we go. That's it. Yeah, we're all in this together and we're having fun. We're here to spread the love of God to everyone. Gonna get a little crazy, yeah, a little wild. Here we go now, come give it a try. Move it to the left now. Move it to the right. Find someone you don't know and give them a high five. Stomp your feet louder. Yeah, you guys are doing awesome. Wave your hands up high. Come on. Find somebody else now and give them a high five. Let's go.
Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story.
Yes, our story is about to begin, but you know, as usual, we want to do our big story. But you're probably wondering what's on this table. Well, remember, we've talked about the telescope is on this table, and what else is on here, y'all?
A camera.
A camera, that's right, a camera. And what else is on here?
Silly glasses.
Let's see if y'all can put one on. That's right, silly glasses, and it has different frames, and whatever is in the frame, it changes everything you see. Everything you see. Very good. So when you put something on that has different lens on it, it changes everything you see. And the camera takes snapshots and images of everything you see. Y'all did a great job. All right. So if you were answering those questions, let's give them a round of applause if they were answering those questions. That's right. Now our big story. It is talking about the Old Testament and the
New.
That's right, the Old Testament and New Testament. And it talks about Adam and
Eve.
Adam and
Eve.
That's right. And we talk about the patriarchs of the faith. The first one is
Abraham.
That's right. Abraham has a son, his name is
Isaac.
Isaac has a son, his name is
Jacob.
Jacob has a name change. His name is changed to
Israel.
That's right. And God has a relationship with his people. He has a relationship with the kings. And then they said, we want a king. They had prophets. They said, we want a king. So they had a relationship with kings. And then judges led them. And that's the Old Testament. Then when we get to the New Testament, that's right. And we have the book of
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
That's right. That's the Gospels about a little baby born in a place called
Bethlehem.
That's right. His name is
Jesus.
That's right. I hope y'all were answering. That's our big story. And then churches are popping up. Come on, popcorn. Churches are popping up as the first Christian church met in the book of Acts. And then they're moving and churches are popping up in a place called Ephesus and Galatia and Corinth. And that's how we get the rest of the New Testament. And God says, I'm coming back again. And that's how we get the book of Revelations. That's our big story. All right, I'm going to now pass it on to Pastor Tripp as he gives our story for today.
All right, so our text is Acts chapter 9, verses 1 to 9. So grateful to be here with y'all today to talk about the word. And I'm going to start to read right here. Acts 9, verse 1, it says this. Meanwhile, Saul continued to oppose the Lord's followers. He said they would be put to death. He went to the high priest. He asked the priest for letters to the synagogues in Damascus. He wanted to find men and women who belonged to the way of Jesus. The letters would allow him to take them as prisoners to Jerusalem. So on his journey, Saul approached Damascus. Suddenly, a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell to the ground. He heard a voice speak to him, Saul, Saul, why are you opposing me? Who are you, Lord? Saul asked. I am Jesus, he replied. I am the one you are opposing. Now get up and go into the city. There you will be told what you must do. The men traveling with Saul stood there. They weren't able to speak. They had heard the sound, but they didn't see anyone. Saul got up from the ground. He opened his eyes, but he couldn't see. So they led him by the hand into Damascus. For 3 days he was blind. He didn't eat or drink anything. That's God's word. We're talking about how knowing Jesus changes the way that you see everything. And this is such an amazing example of it, what's happened with Saul here. There's some things that we come into contact with, people that we meet, things that we see that don't really have much of an impact on us. And then there's some things that change everything about our lives. I was watching Space Jam with my kids. I don't know if you've seen this movie, a really old movie. And there were these amazing NBA players. And then there were these aliens that showed up and they wanted to steal their talent. So they had all these things. They could dunk and they could dribble, they could block shots. And all of a sudden, these aliens took their talent. They tried to shoot free throws, they missed them all. They tried to dribble, they couldn't do it anymore. The aliens, after meeting them, had changed them, and they couldn't do the things that they once used to do. Well, what we see with Saul in this passage is that Saul has been, as we've seen him so far in the book of Acts, he's been someone who not only doesn't like Jesus, but wants to stop other people from liking Jesus. He's going somewhere to do more of those bad things, and then all of a sudden he encounters Jesus, and it changes everything, right? He heard this voice, a light from heaven. He fell to the ground, and he heard a voice, Saul, Saul, why are you opposing me? And he says, who is this? Who are you? And he says that he's Jesus. Now, most of the time, if you were to meet someone who you really didn't like and you didn't like anything that they did, you would probably say mean things back to him or whatever it may be. But what happens with Saul is he immediately asks who this is, and then he starts to take orders from him. Because Jesus tells him, look, I want you to get up and go to Damascus where you can learn more about me. Go into the city. All of his friends are blown away. They hear it, but they don't see anybody. This is what happens when we meet Jesus. Everything that we used to be begins to shift. The things that we used to do begin to shift. And so there may be some things in your life right now that Jesus has called us not to do. In the same way that Saul didn't like Jesus, but then Jesus gave him new orders and he began to follow him. There may be some things going on in your life that Jesus wants to give you some different orders. Maybe that is being obedient to your parents. Maybe that's the way that you talk to your siblings. Maybe that's telling the truth when you get caught in something. Either way, when we know Jesus, it should change the way that we see things. Now we know that, something's good if Jesus says it's good. Something's bad if Jesus says it's bad, and we want to follow his marching orders. Knowing Jesus changes the way that we see everything, and it did that for Saul, and I'm praying that it'll do that for you. Just like in Space Jam, those aliens took those talents and those players weren't the same anymore. Jesus does the opposite. The stuff he takes from us is not the best things about us or our talents. The stuff that Jesus wants to turn around and take from us is the sin, the stuff that's kept us from him, the things that keep us from being who he created us to be. So my prayer for you today is that you would know Jesus, and that knowing him, it would change the way you see absolutely everything.
All right, with this corona going around, we can't celebrate our birthdays the way we usually celebrate them, but we've been getting a lot of family time, right? So what are some things, Alexis, you've done with your family?
Play video games.
Y'all play video games together? It's like a competition? Okay. Clinton, what are some things you do with your family?
Movie night.
Y'all have movie night? Y'all have snacks and stuff?
Yeah.
Those are all great ideas. You can use some of those ideas for a virtual birthday party with your family, or even just do something at the house, something small. So let's wish them a big happy birthday, okay?
Okay.
You ready, Clinton?
Yeah.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday!
To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
We are so glad you came and you joined in with us, and we want to remind you that our Zoom groups are right after this, so please connect, get ready, and follow the link below. If you want to accept Jesus as your Lord and Savior, our Next Steps link is also there. It's as easy as A, B, C. A, if you accept that you are a sinner, Romans 3:23 says, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. B, if you believe that he died and rose again, John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And then C, if you confess him as Lord of your life, Romans 10:19 says, if you confess him as Lord, believe in your heart, it's real simple, you shall be saved. We look forward to you joining our family. All right, y'all, let's thank them for coming. Thank you for watching. See you next time.
In this game, you can claim anything and they can't say nothing. So hard, so hard. So hard, and your balls might blow a couple brains with a button. Pull triggers, push dope, them figures might double up something. Can't nobody tell bruh nothing. But talking about the Lord, it's going too far, y'all funny. Hey, can I get another one heating up? NBA Jam on 5 deep in us. Going hard like the score might even up. But it won't, too cold, I'm sleeping up. Why be ashamed? We seen enough. He was bleeding, no breathing, and beating up. Ain't got no reason to leave him, I'm sold. He bought my soul. He picked this light-skinned heathen up. Celebrations, best win. We got grace, we resting. day to groom me stepped in. Now every day's a reception. Yes, sir. Still gotta serve my God, no lie. Still unashamed. On the mic, I might testify, oh my. Still unashamed. Tear down what we got so high, they try. Still unashamed.